Power stack is good with the retail.
As we are going to get started, though, the game is going to be going in about 2 seconds here. So let's open up our map and Jebro, check out the splits.
So we're going to see a bit of a massive crossover, 2-2 split on the mid. Actually, Dalgamar's going to go straight up the mid. So we're going to see two heading over from blue over to the mine, and there's just Stomp Trooper over here at the moment. Mid at the moment, we've got the Guardian on blue coming up against Kenny on the red, and over in Henge we've got a bit of a mess going on as well. We've got two from blue up against Mini Snowball at the moment. Renner is actually looked like he came out of the point there. Not sure exactly why. Maybe having a look to see if anyone else was splitting over. But the fight at the moment, as also is now two guys over at mine. So we do have a 2 versus 2 over on that point over there.
And as we go over here too, we can see Renna doing a nice job playing that SC role, absolutely kiting around Kiju at the moment. Going to be trying to take him into the down lane, is going to be successful in doing that. They do have Nevio here out the side, who's going to try to res him back up. Not necessarily enough direct cleave to throw into Kiju there, so they are going to be able to res him back up into the game. But if the threat continues from Renna here, they should be able to take him down fairly easily. Once again, he's getting very low. Nice dodge there again by Reno, getting out of the way of that Earthshaker. But again, now they got to keep the cleave on the Kiju here. This time we are going to see cluster bombs going off there, and that will be able to keep him down low enough. And we are going to see a red team execute a stomp there on Akiju, eliminating him from this fight over here at Henge as well. Now we see that Nevo is going to be the only person focused, so more than likely red team should be able to seal they control this Henge node. As we go back to the middle, we can also see Kenny is getting focused now by members of Chaos Army at the moment. Kenny is going to be getting back up though, again, due to, generally speaking, a lack of cleave that was available at the time. And then back over here at the mine as well, we can see that the two Warriors were duking it out, but we saw Stormtrooper Lee take control of that 1v1, and as such, he's now going to take control of his team's home point over at the mine. And again, let's go back over here to middle and see what is happening. Again, Kenny along with Dalgamar are currently holding up. This is more likely going to end up being stalemated, but again, we do have the Thief in here, the SD Thief, just sort of wrecking house on Kenny at the moment, so we may see him go down, but again, depending on how well Demika is able to cleave, we may just see Kenny get right back up into the game, especially now that Stormtroopers joined this fight as well.
Yeah, Diomez just went down there. He was quite low on HP, but he's doing okay. He's just backed out using his Shadow Refuge to just give himself a little bit of a break there. He's going to get out, but he's just trying to escape. Looks like he might be heading over towards mine to try and potentially get a decap, but I think Kenny's actually noticed that that's open, so he's actually noticed that Dai's going to come back, so he's going to be able to hold him off while he keeps that home point. So Blue have now got their home point. Only seen 40 points for red against 10 for blue. Mid is still not being capped. No boss has been hit either. I think they're trying to be cautious at the moment, blue. They just want to keep their home point at the moment. The blue team just try and actually get some points back into this, chuck some people on the mid point, maybe just see if they can win that mid fight. And it looks like the Thief's going to be roaming around, but Kenny also being very, very cautious for those guys as well. We see the Warrior of Mini Snowball looking like he's going to be going over towards the Henge point at the moment versus the Engineer. Engineer's quite bunkery, quite tanky, especially with that elixir gun as well. I'm not sure I would have gone for the same thing. Did he use a toolkit? Oh, he's got a toolkit as well.
Toolkit too. He's also with the automated response. The automated response won't do much against the warrior, but it should help a pretty decent amount once he gets down the order, like immobilizes and whatnot for going off on him. That would allow the warrior to build up chains onto him. But as we're gonna see, this fight should be stalemated. It'll just come into the fact of how well can Kiju actually dodge stuns and knockbacks that'll push him off the point and allow decap to go off here, and how well can Kiju actually stay on the point there. And as we're going to see, the Warrior will be able to execute the last knockback necessary. We'll see a decap go off. But the real action's happening over here in the middle. You do have to note, too, that back over here at the Henju, we'll see Sonyetta coming in to turn this into a 2v1. And Kiju should be able to regenerate now that he does have the assistance of a teammate. But as we go back over here to the mid, too, we can see that there's still a 2v2, basically stalemated over here. We actually saw Kiju go down at the Henge, so we're going to come back over here. Mini Snowball coming in to execute a stomp. Will he be able to do this 1v2? And it looks like he is. Nicely done there by Snowball. Will be able to execute that stomp in a 2v1 scenario. And now, as we see, it's only going to be Soniweta left over here, or Sonitwa left over here to cap, as we're just going to see Mini Snowball bailing off that, going over to assist with mid, I think. Yeah, Red's just going to go all in on mid. We can see over here, they're going to be having 5 mid pretty soon, as they're going to try to just swarm around it, try to take this point, because up to this point, we're almost 5 minutes into the game, just at the 4-minute mark. And no one has capped mid yet, which is actually a bit unorthodox for this map. Usually we do see at least one person get control of it by now.
Yeah, Cry, the Guardian, it looks like Red are looking for that cap right now because they actually did take down the Guardian. He's just in down state, no res coming out. He does have a Shadow Refuge down, but there's too much cleave damage coming in on the for him to get anything, so he is down, Dai is down, and Kruzlok's just been killed. So it looks like Red potentially going to get this team fight under wraps as Captain goes down as well, the Warrior. So almost a free team wipe for Blue there, but that was a good move from Sonetwa, whatever.
I think it's Sonetwa or something. I want to say it's French.
He's good.
Yeah,
he's good.
I want to say it's French, but it could be wrong on that.
I'm from the EU, by the way, not blue, and he can pronounce the EU names better than I can. It's because I'm English. But there's 3 over at this home point. They want to keep that. That's solid. They just came in, killed him fast, moved out. And they're moving back across the map, so they're going to be moving back to mid, as Red do have the cap, but Blue have also sent 3 of their guys into the midpoint to try and see if they can get a decap over there. So there's only 70 points away between the 2 teams. No boss kills. A boss kill for Blue could potentially maybe swing it into their side of the map.
And as we go over here too, we can see at mid, the Red is actually making a pretty nice, Red is actually doing a pretty nice job at defending over here. They just took Daimika down, just generally due to AoEs. Their Daimika ended up going down because of that. Blue team is now trying their best to come on, but you can see just a great example of how much corpse sleeve can matter in a fight such as this. Blue team is basically unable to get a res off there on their teammate. There's a couple factors contributing to that, mainly because of the fact that Daimika is extremely squished in the down sleep because he's a thief. But beyond that fact too is just the huge amounts of AoEs that were coming in from Thief Cluster Bombs, general AoEs from the Warrior, Arcing Arrows were like another big one that would come into play over here. But because of all that, it not only allowed the Thief Daimika to stay in the downstate, but it also lowered plenty of the members on the blue team that were also offending over here to go down low enough to where they would be easy targets for the red team to take down lowers. Like we saw Kreiskork go down there a couple seconds ago, and now Kiju as well has been thrown into the downstate too. Nevu, one of the tankier members from the blue team, was able to get Kiju back up, but again, unfortunately due to lack of cooldowns that Kiju has from earlier actions, we did see the red team once again make easy work and take him right back in the downstate once more, because red team just has really nice control of this team fight, mainly due to their focus and the amount of damage they can put out.
Yeah, they are doing. They've just wiped them, like pretty much wiped them again. Dai's the only guy up. He needs to get out of there. Either that'll go for the res, but there's no point because there is 4 of red actually at the midpoint, and there's blue are going to start respawning. Red needs to probably cover the map a little bit more, as there is 4 of them currently at the mid. Versus 1 guy. Okay, now they've started to move out now, but Cry is, you know, you don't need more than 2 people versus a Guardian on that midpoint. Just spread around the map, make sure you're keeping your spot. They are heading over towards Svanir now. I've gotten down to about half HP. Gonna get the kill on him, so they've got another 25 points. No steal at all coming out from anywhere from blue, because they're a little bit lost on the map at the moment. The engineer's kind of wandering around Henge, not really sure whether or not he can move out. He's quite far out there, so stealth from behind would mean would probably lose that point. So I think they're just going to try and push him out because it's getting a bit late in the game now.
And as we go back over here to the middle, we can see too that red team once again has lost control of the point. However, they're doing a nice job of defending it. That could change down because Kicho's going to come in and turn this fight into a 3v2. So we now have Daimika, Thief, Kreiska, Guardian, as well as Kiju are over here trying to steal away at this point. Daimika trying to get the damage off onto Kenny at the moment, but there is a lot of CC coming out from the Hammer Warrior, Mini Snowball over here. And he's doing a nice job of laying them damage and generally forcing Daimika back there a little bit. So as you can see again, the damage is really just ticking off on him at the moment as he is going to try to focus that Thief and peel him off of his teammate Kenny over there. We're also going to have Dalgramar XX coming into play over here too, as Daimika once again still trying to get the damage off onto Kenny. As we go over here to Kenny himself, he is hanging out the backside of the point real quick. He's actually going to move off the point right now too. I think probably to fall back over here to the mine and try and assist with that, because we did see once again Stormtrooper Lee has now come in and recaptured that, so actually they should be okay on that. So Kenny was probably just actually moving off the point in order to get himself into a better health situation there. So he'll come back up onto mid right now, come over here, do the damage off onto apologies onto Dalgramar as well as Mini Snowball. Kiju again, nice focus coming off onto him from members of the red team. They're probably going to be able to throw him into the downs here over the next few seconds, but he's doing a nice job himself of trying to hang on here, but it's not going to last forever. 3v1, lots of damage going on to him there. They will be able to come in there, stomp him out. Kreiskork as well, going to instantly be the next target, and they will take him into the downstate too. Red team now going to come in for the stomp on a Kreiskork, and that should go off without a hitch, as Kenny did have Trey procs up and ready to go there, so nothing going to be getting in the way of that. Once again, back over here at the mine too, we also can see Daimika is over here currently trying to take down Stormtrooper, but may have some troubles with that because it's a war, in addition to the fact that he has his doppelganger, SD Thief, on the front of the other team, is now over here being an offensive asset for the red team at mine point as well, as we're going to see Daimika probably get DPS down over the next few seconds. Other than that, though, there's still some contention going on at mid. Sonatois as well as Captain Nevu are here trying to take this away, but Captain Nevu, again, really nice focus by the red team here. They're just absolutely destroying people on middle here. Captain Nevu probably going to go into the downside over the next few seconds. Yep, going into the downside right here. Red team will come in for the stomp onto him, and that should go off without a hitch. He's going to be eliminated, and once again, that will give red team a pretty big boost here to the middle point. And as well, we can see that Reyna is going to once again sneak over here onto the Henge and just steal that away from their opponents.
Why do they keep sending their guys to the mid, man? Why don't they just try and get a load of guys to go over to mine? Just try and keep the two. Oh, see the thief now from Red's decapped Henge, and they're focusing on the mid. They know they can't win these team fights because they've had 4v4s like about 3 or 4 times now. Why they keep bashing their heads against the wall? They're not even going for the boss to get the extra stats to get in that fight. So that's what you want to do if you're out. If your team fight isn't working and you need something to boost it and to make it better, then you want to be getting that stat boost, which they're not doing. So these guys really need to pull back, just regroup, rethink what they're doing, because at the moment Red are smashing them in the mid, and they need to try and get some more focus here, because they are losing now by about 150 points. Red reaching almost 400, and Blue are on 222.
We're going to see once again Kreiskork here going to get focused down in middle. And part of the reason I think the blue team is being a bit hesitant to try and push over here to the mine is mainly because of the fact that they've, for the most part, kept someone over there defending it. So even if they did decide to go over there, even if they did decide to actually go over there and try to take that away, then there would probably be someone there waiting for them. Now, they did come in here in a time where there technically wasn't someone on the point, but because of the fact that they just recently wiped them at mid, it did make blue team's movements somewhat predictable here now, because they were like, okay, we just wiped them at mid, they may try to go for our home nodes. So they did rotate a couple more red team members over there, specifically Mini Snowball, Reyna, as well as Stormtrooper are now over here at the mine, waiting for Kiju, who did decide to come in there. Blue team, I think, kind of juked that a little bit too, so they may have caught red team off guard a bit, because as you saw going back over here, there was a couple guys that looked like they were heading over here to the beach, but then they suddenly changed paths and went up to middle instead. So that might have thrown red team off here a little bit, and that actually is going to allow them to get a decap here in middle. But the issue with this is they really need to start making some headway soon, especially they need to actually completely take mid soon, because they're at a point now where they not only need this decap, but they also need to hold a decap on their opponent's node as well if they want to have any chance of winning this. And I'm just not sure if that is going to be a possibility with us being this deep into the game.
I think you're right about that, unfortunately. Who is it? Someone just went over. Yeah, Kaiji going down over there. At the moment, there is nothing they can really do other than do exactly what you said, and I don't think that's going to happen. They've just not got the strength in the team, but they're doing better on mid now, but that's... I think that's just because they've come into a contested point and Red are trying to be a bit cautious. But they've got the only cap of the game at the moment. There's a lot of action going down over at Henge as well. Kaiju and Son Netois, they're going up against Ren at the moment, but it's not looking good for these guys. Well, hopefully maybe we'll see something else in Fofar. Maybe they can take advantage of the tactics of the map a little bit. We didn't see them kill any bosses. Red also took a boss, solo kill by a warrior, which is running Soldier's Amulet. No one from Blue came over to try and get the steal on that. He was the only one DPSing that down. So there's no steal incentive. There's nothing really coming out from Blue that's going to push them ahead of Red in the way they're playing at the moment.
Yeah, and as we are going to see here, guys, as we wrap up the last few seconds here, Red Team, we are going to be seeing Warbears take the first game here, and they'll be now up 1-0 in the set, and they will be one game away from moving on to the next round.
Cool.
And now we are going to be moving on to Legacy of the Fofire, guys. So that is going to be fun indeed as we go on to that map. For those of you that are newer to Guild Wars 2 that may not be necessarily familiar with the map, or even newer to SPVP, Legacy of the Fofire is the map with the Lord that does come into play. So there will be a lot of action to be had there. Again, once we load into that map, I'm going to show that to you. So I'm just waiting for that real quickly. There is it. There it is. Anyway, as we go over to the map here, you can take a look over here and see that we do have the Lords that will spawn on each team's side. Red Team's Lord will spawn over here in the Char theme base. Blue Team's Lord will spawn over here in the Ascalonian theme base. Now, if either team kills their opponent's Lord, they know they have to get through these gates over here as well. They are going to be getting 150 points added to their total score. So we often see when games are close that, generally speaking, if one team feels they won't be able to come back from caps or something like that, they may make a desperate play to try and go in there for their Lord. That happens quite often, in all honesty, when the games are fairly close. Not sure if we're going to be having that here today, but I mean, we've even had in the past some crazy things where we had like double Lord pushes at the same time. So there is a lot of potential for crazy stuff.
It's whether or not you like we said. I do like this map for the Lord. I think it's a great mechanic to have. I like the mechanics in the map, and I don't think they get used as nearly as well. Even if as like a distraction, just to be like, all right, we're going for the Lord. Right, everyone has to pull back, but now we can get the points, we can get them caps, and we can actually just completely fool them into actually going back to defend. I've seen it a lot in the team queues this week actually as well. And I've actually managed to do that, just getting the door down, then regrouping on their far node, maybe stealthing in, or doing what Wooden Potatoes did, and I can't remember which tournament it was now. The Bloody Tech, was it Bloody Technology? Yes, when they just got the fiery greatsword, 2 fiery greatswords. I want to see that again. That's what I want to see. I love that. That was good. It's quite fun, you know, a little bit of fun. They smashed him so fast as well. Oh my god, that damage was awesome. You can really do it, and I think Blue, they need to really think about going for that because they've got the thief, they've got the engineer. Do you have speedy kits?
He should, yeah. He's got 30 points, or he's got at least 10 points in that tree.
So I mean, they've got the mobility over Red at the moment by 1.
It's just a matter of the fact that like Red Team was sort of Red Team was playing a very safe strategy on 2 caps there, so it's going to be very hard for Blue Team to pierce that. They did something towards the end of the last game there where they sort of feint played, going for far, and then suddenly went for middle, and that seemed to work pretty well for them. But it was just because of the fact that it took so long to pull that off, that their opponent team had already gotten such a huge lead that at that point it would have been impossible for them to come back regardless. So they just need to try and do something like that a little bit earlier so that it actually does make it a possibility for them to come back into play. Yeah,
I wasn't watching Kryzok for the retaliation. Someone mentioned about the healing as well, the symbols getting given off because he was going for the more healing on symbols. AoE healing, sorry, on the symbols.
Is it really that significant though, is the question. Let's take a look at it real quick.
I don't know. I need to see the ticks. I need to get on him.
199 with each pulse. It's not bad.
One thing that's really underrated is the dodge roll for the heals on Guardian. So you can really pump out some healing on that.
It'll be about 800 healing.
It's good.
Once he goes down. I mean, it's okay.
It's a good idea. As long as it's in the team fights, then it's fine.
I mean, it's going to help, obviously, because it'll help teammates, too. But just from him on a personal level, I'm just not sure if it'll help that much. But anyway, guys, we are getting started here, taking a look at these splits now, as we are going to make a look. It's going to be Daimaka along with Captain Nevu coming over here onto the waterfall. We're also going to be seeing Kryzok, the Guardian, make his way into middle. Other than that, we're going to see Kijo and Sonatwa make their way over here to the quarry. Basically, actually going to be match splits here. Red team, I think, is actually going to get a nice surprise over here onto the Thief Daimaka back at Waterfalls. I believe they were stealth on the opener there. Nevu is now going to fall back to try and save Daimaka. Daimaka actually doing a really nice job of trying to dodge around this, but as we can see, he is going to be sort of thrown out of combat for the time being here because he is going to have to get some health back into play before we can actually jump into these fights. Checking out if we saw anything interesting happen at the other nodes. We can see over here it's a pretty even fight happening back over here at the quarry. Kijo appears to have taken the most damage there from the initial engagement, and he actually may get taken down, so we're going to stick with this fight for the time being. Kijo extremely low at the moment, going to get thrown into the downstate now. Red team coming over here trying to get the snap off on him. Stormtrooper Lee is going to be the one to execute that, and then will go off there without a hitch, eliminating him and giving Red team an advantage now on their home point. Back over here at the waterfall, we can see that Daimaka also was thrown into the downstate, but we're going to be seeing Granite choose to just let him sit there and die and bleed out as well. We did see Neva getting stomped out there too, so with that, Red team will not only be taking control of their own home node, but they have also successfully offended the far point over here at Waterfall, and they will be getting control of that too. Back in middle, it's the Guardian sort of just AFK at the moment, but now with Reda coming into play, Kaiserok is going to have to try and defend himself here now.
I think he was kind of AFK while I was in the middle point. He's the last pretty much one on the team to actually not be dead, and the blue need to get into this point now to actually help him and to keep it contested. Maybe see if they can win a team fight all together as one team, because they got wiped on both sides of the map. I mean, that's a big issue, and Red have got both outside points. They're moving into the mid to sandwich, and of course Blue have all gone to the midpoint as well. So possible team wipe unless someone can move out, potentially have a little scout, have a look at quarry maybe. Thief needs to be moving around the map right about now and just leave this mid fight alone. I can't actually see where he is at the moment. There we go. So he's hanging around. He's trying to have a look at quarry, but you know what? They're just backing up. They're being very, very defensive, and so it's quite surprising to see him. I think they'll go for that far point right at the beginning, but I don't think they were just going for decaps in the last game on the far point. They weren't going for full caps. So like you said, they're going very defensive. But yeah, what do you reckon they can do to change it? They're 80 points ahead. Midpoint's contested.
Midpoint
They've not even got killed yet.
Yeah, midpoint looks like it's probably going to go in favor of the red team as well. So really, red team had a really strong opener. You were mentioning earlier about how teams often will only, at the start at least, only go for Varno to try and aggress it. They won't necessarily go for it to try and fully steal it. We also have Daimaka stuck in a wall here. As it
yeah,
seems.
so
He seemed to have screwed himself over. One second, I just got to type a message in the chat. Oh, no, we got him slow there.
He's
So,
out.
all right. Yeah, I was going to say he could leave and come back in if he needs to. But, as we can see what else is going on here, guys, we do see Daimika going to be flying back over here to the waterfall, but he's going to be going up against Mini Snowball and Rena in the process, along with another member of the red team, Dagmar. Actually, Dagmar's not going to be coming over here, and he might change his mind now because we see another team member coming in. But anyway, you were talking earlier about how the fact that teams don't necessarily want to aggress at the start of the game, at least on Forest. This map's a lot different, I think, just because of the fact that it's a lot easier to get to those nodes and fight on them at the start of a game compared to that other map. It's just kind of the way the map works.
Yeah.
So I think teams do try to do it a lot. Also to consider the fact, too, that how much harder it is to take mid on this map compared to Forest. So teams often will try to go for like a 2-1-2 split or something like that, where they just go for side nodes and make sure they hold into those, and they'll just keep someone in mid, like the bunker guard, to keep it contested, just so the fact that they can get a solid control of 2 nodes and have a third one contested as well, because of the fact that, yeah, they can go for their home node and then contest mid, but there's no guarantee they'll get mid, even if there's only one person for the enemy team, that just because of how long it actually takes to kill that guy, that more than likely, by the time that person died, they would already have someone else there waiting too, so they could just stalemate it basically indefinitely, and we've seen hundreds of cases of that in the past.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are just solid across the map, really. To be honest, the point that they've lost is quarry, and they can back that up, because if people die, they can just respawn and run straight back to it. So blue, but they're all pretty much here at the moment as well. There's no one here. I mean,
Just like that.
you never know. I mean, they could potentially just be regrouping, so they could go for a Lord, maybe try and wipe the team, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Red are going to hit 350. They might go for the Lord just to end it fast, because 250 versus 13.
They're doing really well over here. But look at this. We even just saw them do a really nice AoE chain. Took out 2 people on the blue team at once there. Rena was doing absolutely awesome job with the cleave there. Took Daimika and Keiju down there. So that was a really nice job there. But as we're going to see, more than likely with the solid grasp on the points they have, they probably won't rush Lord in this scenario, just because of that fact that they have such solid grasp of the points. It would be more of a risk than it would actually be beneficial to them. They may do it if they want to, like, if they want to get a bit cocky, then they can do it, because they would be able to do it. But like from a safety standpoint, based on the strat they're playing, they probably won't do it.
I don't know. I think when you get to this point,
yeah,
when you're just absolutely
they
smashing them,
they may
and you're
just
just
do it
thinking,
for we're just gonna do it because the game's over. Like, they may do it for that reason, but
yeah.
from like an actual like tactical standpoint, I don't think they would do it, just because they still have control basically over all 3 points. Granted, blue team has control over the quarry, but it's generally speaking going in their favor. We can see Nevu's gonna go into the downside here over the next few seconds, and assuming he does die, that's a pretty strong indicator that this will go back in red team's control. And again, like you touched on earlier, even if a red team does lose people, their spawn is right here, so they can very easily reinforce it. And now he actually got back up, so they're gonna keep this contested for a lot longer. So I'm gonna redraw, or rather pull back my previous statement when I said red team has control over all 3 points.
Ooh, there we go. They've got core. So they're getting some points in now, but it really feels like it's going to be too late for these guys. And just based purely off the last match and all the fights we keep seeing here, although Stomp is actually just going down over a waterfall, looks like he's going to be put down now. And oh god, Dalgramar is actually on his own at the moment over on the waterfall, so he's going to have a bit of trouble. So blue have got, potentially, could pull back a little bit in this fight.
They can definitely pull back a little bit, but again, as we look at the scores here, it's 300 points in favor of the red team. A 300-point comeback would be phenomenal if it was actually feasible for our blue team friends to pull off here. But unfortunately, unfortunately, it's gonna be an extremely hard thing to pull off, and I just don't think it's gonna be possible for them to do. So more than likely, we're going to see red team take this one as well. Like in red team, even though they lost quarry, or apologies, even though they lost waterfall, they're going to get quarry right back at the same time anyway. So they'll just keep that 2-cap that they have held for basically forever at this point.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it's gonna. You're not going to go for the Lord? Come on, guys.
Well, like I've been saying, they don't. From a tactical standpoint, it's not really necessary. They're 400 points ahead. They could do it and just be like, well, we have a 400-point lead. But at the same time, blue team has had some close fights with them. Blue team is not behind in any way, shape, or form in terms of the fighting game. In my opinion, it's just a matter of the fact that red team is rotating a lot better, a lot smoother than the blue team is, and that's really what's doing it for them.
Yeah, I think there's a few. They're winning the team fights. They've got their rotations better. They're using people in the team. They've been defensive rather than too offensive. Blue are being too offensive, but they probably need to be a bit more defensive, trying to get their close point back first, grouping up, and then moving to mid. And they're all moving. But there's too much support on red team. They seem like a really bunkery team, and the Thief's getting around the map well. to actually, you know, put that damage down where he needs to. And like the other guys aren't really that damage orientated. Like it's just mainly the thief. And then you've got the damage from Kenny as well. So I'm just gonna check his amulets. Yeah, so he's got carrying amulet, so he's gonna be obviously doing a lot more condition damage as well. So the main DPSs, you know, I mean it's the thief and the ranger's pulling off quite a lot. I mean the warriors aren't pulling off as much as they would, you know, with berserker amulets or whatever, but you know, they're still quite a tanky team.
Yeah.
And the blue just cannot handle it.
Yeah, and there we go, guys. With that, we are going to be seeing Warbears take the second round as well, which will bring them up to 2-0. That is going to be then Warbears will be moving on to the next round. Chaos Army has now been eliminated from the tournament once again. Next Warbears for